Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Ha, or Ha Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, Aharawan Banya Sharala of the Lions Den Camp, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. Also, salutations to the sincere Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Kharab Banya Sharala, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. And now today, I'll be coming out with a lesson. I'll be coming out of 2nd Esdras chapter 13. And of course, this speaks of when Yahawashi shows up, with the heavenly hosts. And in that time when he shows up, these other nations will be in the east, in the valley of Jehoshaphat or Yahawashi, the Lord's judgment, fighting and vying for power when Yahawashi shows up. And in that, it makes me think about Luke, what this is, chapter 12, verse 49. It says, I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? So the Lord is coming to send fire on the earth. That means he's coming to judge. And 2nd Esdras 13 speaks about the Lord Yahawashi showing up and coming to judge. The fire is going to already be kindled. That's why it says, and what will I if it be already kindled? Meaning the fire going to already be kindled. Everything going to already be smoking and cooking and boiling good when Yahawashi show up. So chaos going to already be amiss already. Things are already going to be going on when Yahawashi show up to come deliver the ultimate finishing blow, to signify the beginning of righteousness forever. But without further ado, let's get right into it. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 13. I'm going to start up at the top, verse 1. And it says, and it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And this is talking about Yahawashi when he show up. It says, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea. Yahawashi is coming from the heavens. The Lord also considers those waters where he says, he explained the heavens as waters as well, coming from the sea with the sea of heaven. You can say it, but I'm just the sea of heaven, but I'm, giving it an understanding. But the Shemayim and his chariot and his, like the Lord's chariot is going to be so big, and him being accompanied with the host is going to cause a boisterous wind. That's why it says, and there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved all the waves thereof. I mean, it's going to be moving air. The Lord's chariot, the chariot that's come, they're going to be moving the air in the atmosphere. And that's power. That's magnitude and power. Our grand entrance. Verse 3. It says, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And this is soon to happen. But right now, things have to happen the way they're happening now to get to this point. And this was a dream that Esdras saw. He saw Yahawashi with the thousands of heaven, waxed very strong. And it says that when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. You got to think. It also says in the scriptures, every eye is going to see him. People's hearts are going to fail them for fear, for seeing the magnitude and the greatness of Yahawashi when he come in his chariot, the size of a mountain, and the heavenly host that's going to be with him. That's going to be a scary sight. For those who haven't been living right, who've been living wickedly, for those who didn't who chose to ignore, they're gonna be very afraid and they're gonna tremble. And when the Lord show up over there in the east, when those nations when they're gonna be fighting, they're the ones that's gonna be really afraid because they're gonna get a first hand a front row seat, you know, to a right aiming thunderbolt to their face. That's what it says. And when he turned his countenance, all the things that trembled, all the things under him trembled. I mean, it was afraid. You got to think his chariot is big as the Lord's chariot is the size of a mountain, probably maybe even bigger. So you got to think that's huge. It don't take a lot for something that huge to cause trembling and vibrations from the air down to the ground. You already got to think. Just imagine you have a helicopter or even a jet. They be flying up high, but they fly fast enough to where you can feel the rumbling down on the ground, and it's like whoa. Well, same thing with Yahawashi self. It's gonna be some real. It's gonna be trembling, and Joker's gonna be afraid. They're gonna be scared. That's what it says. And when he turned his countenance, all the things trembled that were seen under him. People gonna be afraid, and it's gonna be shaking the ground. Maybe not like an earthquake, but it's gonna be shaking the ground. You're gonna feel the vibration. Them these nations over there, when they fighting over there, they're gonna feel that vibration. But let's continue. And it says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filled the fire. So it says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, that's talking about a laser beam, concentrated fire, fired from Yahweh's ship. Well, not ship, but his chariot. And anything in front of us, what happens? They're gonna get burnt up. They're gonna get burnt to nothing. That's why it says that, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice. So why these other nations over there fighting over who finna control what? Thinking that Yahushua finna show up and pew pew, what I'm saying? Put the pew pew on them, the laser beams, and burn them up. And the angels are gonna be doing the exact same thing, because they're gonna go around the four corners of the earth and get the people of Israel, the children of Israel that believe, and yeah, they're gonna be zapping and bringing judgment too. And just like it says, when the earth, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire, when let's say you ever seen a forest fire or something, just in general, it gets burned. What is left after that fire is gone? Nothing but ash and smoke. So that's what's gonna happen. And it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea. And this is Edris witnessing, the battle of Armageddon. He's witnessing this, but he's also witnessing the showing up of Yahawashi as well. And he witnessed what the gathering together of the multitude of men out of number. That's talking about these nations around the four corners of the earth and their armies fighting over the invalid Jehoshaphat. It was so many people that he couldn't number them. But it got to a point to where they gathered together. They were fighting each other, and then they turned and joined forces to try to what? To subdue the man that came out of the sea. They tried to subdue Yahawashi, because he came out of the sea, i.e. the heavens, the Shemayim. Verse 6. It says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. Now, this is talking about the size. It's just giving you an understanding of the size of the Yahweh's chariot. It says, and I beheld, he says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain. That's how big Yahawashi's chariot is. Have you ever seen a mountain up close? If you have not, you've seen pictures. You know, mountains can go above the clouds. They so big. They so tall. And mountain ranges can stretch for literal hundreds of miles, sometimes thousands of miles, depending on where you at in the world. But Yahawashi, it says he flew up upon his chariot. Come on, that's spiritual power. He flew up upon it. You know, me growing up, watching things like Power Rangers and everything like that. You had the Green Ranger. Like when he would summon his Zord, his Dragon Zord, a lot of the times when it was time to fight, he wouldn't get inside of it like that. He would fly up on the top of it and be riding on the top of it while he doing battle with whatever giant monster that Rita Repulsa or Lord Zed done made grow up real huge. But yeah, just to give you an understanding, Yahawashi, it said, Edris said he saw Yahawashi fly up upon his chariot. That's something the size of a mountain. Man, come on, bro. You're not finna beat that, bro. You're not. And these other nations, but they're gonna make a pathetic attempt to try and beat that. They're gonna try to fight Yahawashi and the heavenly host, the angels. Verse 7, it says, but I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. Meaning Edris couldn't figure out where it came from. He couldn't figure it out. He couldn't figure it out. Verse 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. So not only did they gather together to try and subdue Yahawashi and fight against him, they were afraid, but the Lord gonna put the spirit on them to try to fight anyway. You know, they say a certain situation, you got fight or flight. They're gonna be so scared, so they're gonna be fooled. The Lord gonna put the spirit on them to be foolish enough to fight anyway. Why? Because that's where they're gonna be at. That's it. The Lord gonna mess them up over there, like Elder Apostle Hart has said numerous times. They're gonna be part of the soil over there. Let's continue. And it says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrumental war. Just imagine Yahawashi sitting there. He see the violence of these other nations, this multitude that's gonna come against him. And it says Yahawashi ain't lift what? He ain't lift up a hand, he ain't lift a finger, he ain't pull up a sword or nothing. No instrumental war. He didn't do anything. Yahawashi probably, probably seen Yahawashi just floating and flying and in place, just looking. Yahawashi ain't even have to move a finger. In verse 10, it says, but only I saw that he went out of that went, so like, let me read that again. It says, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. This is talking about those laser beam, that laser beam, or one powerful laser beam from the Lord. Concentrated fire. Edris saw this. He saw Yahawashi chariot shoot. That blast of fire. He saw that out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. That's one heck of a that's one hell of a blast. It's one hell of a blast. And this is my last point. And it says, and they were mixed. So and they were all mixed together. The blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest. and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burnt them up everyone, so that upon a sudden and of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So Yahawashi blasted them all. Just imagine, if you can use your imagination. Edris said he saw all that mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest. And he says it fell with violence upon the multitude. So just imagine. In my mind, I can imagine. They were trying to fight Yahawashi. Next thing you know, they probably heard like something charging up. You ain't no telling. And they probably just boom, just like blasted them. And then guess what? And they say the only thing, and Edris say the only thing he seen left, he said he seen everything get burnt up. Everything. He said upon of a, he says what it says, so that upon of a sudden, instantly, immediately, it wasn't nothing left of that multitude. But what? Dust and smell of smoke. It wasn't nothing left. One blast, game over. And it says what? When Edris saw this, he was afraid. That's power. You must fear Yahawashi because they're not playing. But nonetheless, the Lord is coming to judge. He's coming to do what the words of Yahawashi say that Yahawashi is coming to do. Yahawashi, Edris was a witness to what Yahawashi is going to come to do. He's seen it, you know. He saw the dream. He saw the vision. He's seen it. So yeah, these other nations that are gathering together, you know, we got this World War III, this third world looming on the horizon, partially somewhat done already started by those who posing to be the true people of the Lord, but we all know that to be untrue. But nonetheless, when Yahawashi show up, you can best to believe he coming to get busy. And with that, shalom.